Cavalier faithful, welcome back to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. After some heated discussion, it's episode 9. We got that all sorted out. Welcome back in. Let's just set the scene really quickly. Since the two major injuries that we all know about, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, the Cavaliers in the last 10 games are 7-3. With that being said, I kind of want to just boil the season down to these last 10 games because let's talk about all the encompassing things. Have we played really elite teams? For the most part, not really. We've played some good teams. We beat some good teams like the Dallas Mavericks, and we've taken advantage of the schedule, lightening up a little bit in our favor with multiple games against the Wizards, and then, of course, the most recent game against the San Antonio Spurs. So the first thing I want to talk about, which I think is really interesting, and Logan, I am going to go to you first because I think that this is something that is going to be right up your alley. So let me zoom in really quickly. I got two stats that I want to show you, and they are both stats from, I think, our most valuable player throughout this 10-game stretch, and that would be Jarrett Allen. So this is the season that Jarrett Allen was an all-star. 16.1, 10.8, and 1.6 assists. Now, it's a lot smaller sample size. He played 56 games in that all-star season. I know that he was an all-star due to an alternate and kind of had to sneak his way in here. But let's talk about his last 10 games. 18.8 and 13.1 rebounds per game. He has been an absolute monster as far as just these last 10 games. Okay, here we go. I got this pulled up now. So 18.8 and 13.1. And I believe he's averaging like a block a game, 0.9, almost a block a game as far as the last 10. Logan, his impact to the team, I want to hear about it. Should he be an all-star? And we'll go from there.
First of all, a lot brighter day than our last podcast where we were talking and not really sure what to think of the Cavaliers. And sure, we played a couple of bad teams, but I do have to commend the Cavaliers for what they've done the last 10 games. This man right here is a big reason why. Jarrett Allen, the numbers are better in a 10-game sample size than his all-star season. And I get that. But to me, I'm not looking at the numbers. I'm looking at attitude. Last year, I kind of thought Jarrett Allen not necessarily took a backseat to Evan Mobley, but wanted to let Mobley develop. And I not that he wanted to or knowingly wanted to. I just kind of felt like Jarrett Allen kind of got lost a little bit in the fold last year. It wasn't really the player we thought we would get. We were talking about Big Four, Mitchell, Garland. This Mobley guy is good. Oh, Jarrett Allen, he's an all-star, right? And you have to understand that, you know, when the team gets more and more full, gets more and more healthy even this year, those numbers may not be there. But what I can tell you is if he keeps this same attitude, this go get that damn rebound, go get that loose ball, find the cutter, look over the defense, all these little things that he's doing well the last 10 games, those numbers will diminish. But if his attitude stays right, this Cavaliers team can really rely on him. He becomes a piece of this team that suddenly isn't tradable when a lot of people might have been discussing it before, that Jarrett Allen might give you something on the market. I get that. To answer your second question, Jeffrey, no, I don't think he gets the all-star nod this year. It's just tough, right? And I know he's proven himself the last 10 games, and I do believe that if, similar to the college football playoff, there's 12 teams. If there was 30 guys or 20 guys, yeah, maybe Jarrett would be one of those guys just outside of it. So I'm confident that Jarrett Allen is starting to find something here in Cleveland and starting to find his true niche, his true role, and that's effort has to be there. The lights are no longer too bright, and hopefully they stay nice and dim for Jarrett Allen. He continues on his success.
And honestly, just to build off of that, what's really impressed me with him is that these are, even though some of these teams are not, you know, the upper echelon of the league, still doing it against guys that, you know, I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh, yeah, that guy is maybe a little bit better than Jarrett Allen. Even in the game yesterday against Wembanyama, I think he definitely outplayed him yesterday. He's had to play Giannis in these last 10 games. You know, the Dallas Mavericks, not an easy matchup for a guy like Jarrett Allen. Same way with the Toronto Raptors and, you know, some other teams sprinkled in there like the Pelicans. So he's done it against good competition, you know, as far as the one-on-one matchups. Maybe not. The teams aren't always great, but you still have good NBA players, high-quality NBA players on every single roster in the league. Justin, similar set of questions to you. I still can't give him a pass for saying that after the playoff game. I know people
should have brought it up.
I know people are going to, but like, you can't be a regular season merchant your whole career. Like, I'm gonna need to see something in the playoffs for me to fully be committed to the guy moving forward if he's in the plans. I think the front office is probably in the same boat. Justin, I know you have strong feelings about this. Let me hear them.
Yeah, it was interesting that, Logan brought up the All-Star season and everything. And I think it is very interesting to just kind of like reminisce about his career here with Cleveland, where, he gets that. And to talk about him potentially getting a nod this year, he could get a nod very similarly to how he got a nod his first time around, where he wasn't an outright all-star.
Yep.
He wasn't even an outright alternate all-star selection the first time around. So I feel like, it is very easy to forget that Jarrett Allen is a very talented center, one of, I think, top 10, top 15, and he's very capable of doing what he has been doing. I think I was the one who sent in the group message that since the injuries have happened, and since he's come back, he's basically been the team's MVP. We talked a little bit about like if Strus could be a little bit more consistent, he'd be the season MVP right now. But I think what Allen has been able to provide has been steady and has been like to that capability of being an all-star. But again, like Logan said, just like the rest of the team, once guys start to get healthy again, he takes a back seat. My big thing is like, if you take a back seat, you take a back seat, but it doesn't mean like you have to disappear. Like if he's, averaging 18 and 13 right now, Jeff, if Darius Garland and Evan Mobley comes back, you know what he should average? And you know what I would be okay with him averaging? 10 and 10. What would be so wrong with 10 and 10? Walking double-doubles should be like a legitimate thing in the NBA, and I don't understand why there aren't more of them, because I believe both Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen should both be that. But that all being said, obviously, like for me, I feel like a lot of people during this time would have thought that like Karis LeVert would be the MVP, but he's just not consistently as steady as Jarrett Allen and like a presence as Jarrett Allen has been. So I've been very pleased with Allen. I've been very pleased with, him kind of getting back into form and kind of like, for a lack of not avoiding that conversation, knocking that lights fucking comment out. But
honestly, what really is like a key positive for me, even with these injuries and regardless of the rest of the landscape of the league and just what we can control, is that my biggest worry was that Garland goes down, Mobley goes down, all the other guys on the roster have an easy excuse to all just look at Donovan and be like, all right, you have to carry us every night. That has really been the furthest from the truth. You've seen Jarrett Allen step up. You've seen the emergence of Sam Merrill. Okoro has sprinkled in some good performances. We know that Dean Wade doesn't, stuff the stat sheet by any means. I still feel like you could argue he contributes to winning basketball, but it hasn't. I was worried that Donovan playing every single minute has to score, 40 points a game for us to win, has to, do all these other things. Basically, he might have to average a walking, double-double, hopefully with assists or with whatever it may be with Mobley out, with Garland out, but it hasn't been the case. It's been a good sight to see. And maybe if you have more, you could grow with this roster without two of the core four, and hopefully once they get back, they get integrated really quickly. It's going to be a tall task. It's not going to be easy. That's another concern of mine down the road. But I want to talk about standings because I think we have to hit standings every single time that we record an episode. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts about what is going on this week. The NBA is in Paris. Interestingly enough, I was doing some, research on my own about this, and I do feel like I'm going to have to make a standalone video because I've been hard on the NBA this year. I think the in-season tournament, I've criticized that. You probably couldn't find a bigger hater about that format than me, but I love this move going international. It's not the first time they've done this. They've gone to China. They've gone to Paris, in the 2000s, between 2000, 2010. I believe the Cavs they were somewhere international, like 2007, 2008 with LeBron. Maybe it was Brazil, a couple of different international destinations. But this is a regular season matchup, which I really, really like. It's this Thursday, 2 p.m. game, which is, kind of interesting for us in the States, but I'm sure it matches up good with Paris time. What I'm concerned about, and before I throw it to Logan about how he feels about this whole setup, how he feels about us matching up against the Brooklyn Nets, I'm nervous. Like, is it on Bally's? Like, are we going to be able to watch it? That's my only question. I haven't been able to find that. I didn't really look for it, but I was like concerned. Like, how are we going to be able to watch it at 2:00 on Thursday? Logan, how do you feel about this international, trip over to Paris?
Oh, first off, Jeffrey, I'll share you my NBA League Pass login.
Yes, I know it's on League
Don't
Pass.
you worry.
I seen that it was on League Pass, but I'm like, I pay for Bally, got Spectrum, all that.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, you got to pay for everything to get everything, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's fun. It's totally something different that I haven't really seen, or especially a game that means something. Like sometimes you see some off-season trips out there, or a preseason game, or you watch the Olympics. But to have like a regular season NBA game and it's my team is really, really exciting. I don't really know why they picked the Cavs and Nets. I think they could have picked Lakers and Celtics and gone from there. But I'm really glad they did. I do feel good about our matchup with the Nets. Obviously, we haven't seen them since game 1 of the season, and that was a game that I wasn't confident going into until Max Strus showed me that, he was worth some money. And that was a good win. It is weird though, right? Because it's a totally different environment. It's a different environment for both teams. There's no home team. There's no real away team. Are they doing a home and away thing? Like, is there going to be like jerseys doing this? Or
I think we are.
The Cavs are the technical home team.
Yes.
Not that it really matters, but
Jeff, really quickly, Fubo. I've never heard of it before. Fubo is the only other.
Fubo.
Oh,
No.
never mind. Don't do
Fubo.
I've heard of Fubo, but
dude,
no Fubo.
You can't cancel it any other way but calling them and just hoping they pick up. I got
Love
one
it.
message back from them that said, sorry we didn't get you this time. We probably won't check the messages as we have an influx of calls coming in. Goodbye. And I was like, okay, never again.
The NBA has
everybody.
The NBA just has like a distribution issue. Like, I know we're going on a little bit of a tangent here, but like at least like they see the NFL doing international games in England and stuff like that for the past handful of years, and they're going to follow suit there at least, which like I said, I think is a smart move. I like it. The game, it's the most international sport we have out of the the major 3 that we watch. I mean, all right, maybe it's not the most, but I think it's the fastest growing sport of international players. I think baseball in the States probably has more international players like per percentage. Maybe, but the teams are a lot bigger in baseball. It's an interesting topic, but like the newest best players in the league are all international guys for the most part, which is interesting. But will we be able to watch it? The whole Bally thing, however you feel about it, whatever it may be. Justin, what hat did you get? Did you get the black hat with the logo on the side? I'm trying to pull it up for our viewers.
I did not get a hat. I actually just got the hoodie, and I don't think they had a black hat when I looked. I looked like very early on. I thought or maybe they did just have black hats. They just don't have the flat rim hats, which are my favorite.
I don't like that style hat right
I kind of like this logo though.
I love the logo, and I believe that on the hoodie, that is what, maybe it doesn't look that way on the hoodie, but that does look really nice.
Is that a bomber jacket? I need to grab one of those.
This is what you got.
Jeff wasn't wrong about like one day I need to just make a video going through the Cavs shop being like, I'll cop or drop. But yeah, no, I hooked that hoodie up immediately. I'm a big supporter of the Cavs shop.
Big hoodie guy.
Absolutely. And we were talking before we go live, like how like you get an opportunity to do this for an international kind of setup, and the logos like I felt like they knocked this. I feel like they knocked this out of the park. Even the stuff I wouldn't buy on here, like they have multiple stuff that I'm just like, they have a whole collection for. It's like 12 items. Even a Script C Crew t-shirt. I mean, I don't, there's no other way for me to put it. It's fire. Like where else are you getting Cavs gear? Like I've never even seen Cavs gear like this. And yeah, it's going to be expensive, but
it's always expensive.
It looks nice though. It's actually wine. First of all, they actually use our our color code, but I mean, you have
throwing some black jeans and that black hat right there. You got an outfit.
I mean, it's like casual wear. Like it's not.
Is that
I've looked at the denim
black
jacket.
Bomber jacket? Right there. What is that?
That's a denim jacket. It's got
I can't pull that off.
I was gonna say I can't pull that off. I'm not as cool as this guy. This guy's got the look. He's got the stash.
Yeah, you've got a stash. You can wear that.
I feel like the other one next to it. I feel
Justin
like is a little bit.
That one's like a Carhartt. That one's like a Carhartt jacket. I've looked at that. It's interesting.
The big Cavs in the back.
It's like one of those big like overhaul jackets.
I like this a lot, but this is a deal breaker for me.
I also thought the exact same thing.
That's tough.
See,
I went on the shop this morning. I did my little like gloss over. I was like, you know what?
Justin's always on the shop. The shop could be just recently live, and the man's is just on the shop. Well,
I saw the Cavs were in Paris. I legit just went to the shop. They never made a tweet or nothing about it.
It's kind of fun though, international games, because you're like, everyone's just having a good time. I don't think, honestly though, the Cavs, and I'm sure other fan bases do, because like I said, it's a growing league of international players. The Cavs have a big international population, because I will literally be. I think it's going to be a home game for the Cavs. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but we'll put out tweets and they'll gain traction, and like someone is in our replies speaking French, and it's like they're Cavs fans. It's a Cavs page, and they tweet is in French, and I'm like, I have to go on Google Translate, and I Google Translate these, and I put my own thing in there, translate to French, respond to them. I've done it multiple times. Brazilian Cavs backers, French Cavs backers. I think it's going to be majority Cavalier fans. That might be kind of going out on a limb there, but we'll see. It'll be fun. 2:00 game Thursday. We're going to predict it pretty shortly here in the episode, but
I feel like you got to thank a lot of. I feel you gotta thank a lot of the like overseas fans to like guys like probably Delhi. Like, how many Australian basketball players do you know of?
Right.
And like the one most famous for like all the memes about guarding Steph, and then all the like edits of him guarding Jordan and whatnot.
Yeah.
Then you got like Chetty, who's like
he's like a legend over there.
Yeah, there's plenty of guys who have been on the Cavs that have like endeared themselves to the fan base and whatnot, and I feel like like you said, Jeff, it's just really interesting to see some of the interactions you get with overseas people.
For sure.
The Pacers score 126 a game and give up 124. Sorry, I'm looking at this.
I go back. Find it. Oh wait, no, I said it about the Magic. I was like, for a second there, I thought the Pacers were the Magic pick that I had, where I was like, man, They are just the Jazz of last year.
Well, that's kind of what I want to talk about, Justin, is because not to like kind of loosely put you guys on the spot, and I know it's going to be hard, especially with the variants, with the injuries, with
I want to go first
with the schedule, but like, talk to me about being at the 5 seed right now. What's the goal from here? Like, I feel like we kind of danced around this last episode, but I couldn't think of the question to ask. My question is it impressive to stay at the 5, or are you in this, the mindset of we're going to be lower than the 5, or we should make a push to, maybe contend for like a top 3 seed, or do you just not have enough information to make a decision like that?
I just feel like that it's impressive that we're here at 5 with everything that's going on. Like, what's going on with Indiana? Like, why did they have that meteoric rise at the beginning of the season, and now that they're like falling? I know Halliburton's succeeding, but what's going on with the rest of them? Buddy Hield's on the market. Go trade for them.
Get him.
But
go trade for him.
Go trade for him. Obi Toppin too. Anyways, but like being behind teams, like watching New York flip over us and watching the Magic flip over us, it is infuriating, but it's also one of those things of just like, continue to weather the storm. Mm-hmm. You're out 2 all-star caliber players right now, and you're in the thick of it with 2 teams that I think are very capable of being in the same position you are and not doing as well. New York already kind of doing it. Orlando, I just think, is super young and will come down from what they've been doing. But for me, you'd have to wait until the All-Star break to like try and make that push for 4. I think at the end of this year, your goal is no higher than 4, because there's just no way you're getting to 3 at this point.
Fair enough. Logan, I know that me and you were more optimistic about, overall record preseason. Justin seems to be on, a little bit better path, but
he's more positive too.
What bothers me though is that like it doesn't, like, we all kind of know that seeding doesn't really matter outside of the 1, and you don't want to be a play-in, obviously, and you would really prefer to be the 1. Besides that, the NBA is one of those leagues where you might want to figure out who you want to play to maybe, jockey in the seeding to a certain extent strategically. It's not always possible, but like, if you feel like you have a better matchup with a team, then the seeding doesn't really mean a whole lot to you depending on how you game plan. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to an extent. I mean, seedings certainly didn't matter last year, right? Miami goes to the NBA Finals.
Right.
It's an interesting question to me. Anything above 6 is good, is like away from what I want to be at. But the problem is like 6 feels too low, right? So I think seeding to me is more about fans and fans' pride. That's how I feel about it. And clearly, home court doesn't really help us that much. I mean, 12-8 is the worst of those top, 7 teams. I mean,
Didn't help us last year.
yeah, it's unfortunate that we're struggling at home. That's something that was such a bright spot last year. I know, health, injuries, all that, whatever. I don't care. My point is, I want to be 4 or 5, like lowest of the low, purely for the fact of like I want to have some confidence going into the playoffs, right? Like I don't want to be a team that's like at 6, just barely hanging on, and then you come to reality and you get bounced in 5 games, or you have to play for your playoff lives in the play-in. The play-in is a nightmare. It's a great thing for the NBA. It's great for the fans. Terrifying for the fans of a specific team that's there. So
Right.
I just don't think seeding matters as much as you think it does, or as much as people think it does. And
Fair.
especially in today's NBA, like it used to be like, if you're going to Boston for Game 7, Boston's winning, right? It's just not really a thing anymore. I really think anybody can beat anybody on any given night. It's all about matchups. It's all about this or that. I thought we had a good matchup with New York last year. We did not. So in the grand scheme of things, I just don't think it matters that much. I want a 4 to 5 finish at the lowest.
I actually like that line of thinking because we just don't like have that. I just don't think there's a player in the Eastern Conference who's really, really like that. Maybe Giannis, but last year kind of sold himself to be a little bit fraudulent. I know he was hurt in some games that series, but like when you're playing LeBron in Game 7, if it's in Cleveland, that's a lot different than we don't really have that type of caliber player. Like we do have good talent in the East. You have the Embiids, you have the Tatums, you have the Giannis, but I don't know. That's a good point, Logan. Overall, like it really just comes down to coaching, matchups, and more than anything. And what I really liked that I took away the most from that is momentum. If you're kind of struggling to just barely make it out of the not being the play-in, I'm not really a huge fan of that. But before we talk about the Nets game, because we're going to predict it at one game, Paris game, we have a game next Monday that is against the Bulls. I kind of just want to take a quick little look of the rest of the January schedule really quickly because we just played 2 games against the Wizards. We just played the Spurs. It gets a little bit more difficult to round out this month. So so we have the Nets and the Bulls, but after that is what I really want to look at. We play the Bucks 3 times. We play in Atlanta, we play in Orlando, and we play the Clippers. So
jeez.
I'm setting this up to kind of take this into consideration for not only your Nets selection, but also your Bulls selection, because right now, looking at this, I kind of think you have to win the next 2 games because I don't see us beating the Bucks twice. Prove me wrong, but I don't see them beating them twice on the road, 2 out of 3 games. Atlanta's always a tough game, Orlando on the road, and the Clippers are playing at a really, really high level. So we get to see what this team is really made of. I think it's been good that we have not faltered against these teams that we are clearly better than, even with our injuries, because like I said on the last episode, the doubt starts to creep in. Oh, what's this team going to do? Are we sellers? Are we buyers? Are we, is Mitchell uninterested? Is Allen uninterested? Whole bunch of things could kind of come into play there. And I don't want to deal with it. I feel like we've dealt with enough this season, and, it's not even the All-Star break.
January.
So yeah, literally January. So that's just all I wanted to say. Anybody have any thoughts about that?
I get what you're saying, right? Because a game in November versus the Charlotte Hornets or something like that, we're thinking, yeah, it's a win, whatever, and we get the win. Great. We're all happy, go lucky. But then you come up on those stretches, and it's like, okay, thank God we got those 5 wins back then because we're probably going to get one of our next 6. It does play in the fans' mind. Like if we can't even beat the Hornets in November, how are we going to handle that? It goes back to my point about momentum. You have to have it at the right points when you're going into a tough 6-game stretch. You want to have momentum on your side. We happen to have that right now.
Absolutely. So here we go. Back to the standings. We know Logan's thrilled to see the standings. 16 and 20.
I'm
kind of right in the middle here at 20 and 16. And then Justin, another week leading. How many weeks has he led?
Every
2,
week.
3,
I think every
4.
week. No, maybe I think week 1 Logan had it.
No, I didn't.
We were tied here, but then you've been the outright.
I started
leader.
0-6, right? 0-7. That was horrible. I'm never going to recover from that.
Something criminal. But with that all being said, I think you just need it. I think you just need this first game because, like, even with the injuries, I think we're better than this Nets team. I think
we're so due for a loss.
We're not, though. Don't say that. There's no such thing. We're playing good basketball.
Justin, don't you dare take the Nets, because then I have no idea who to take.
Playing good basketball when we need to. I can't even say we're like
so due for
like the Spurs game almost gives me a heart attack, and like I'm still on here saying we're playing good basketball. Like we're playing. Okay, we're playing somewhat complimentary basketball. Is my statement of the situation.
We so deserve to lose a game, like so badly. It's not even funny, but like the Nets aren't very good either. I just don't know. Like, it's Sam Merrill and Karis LeVert. Like, I feel like I'm getting. I'm gonna say Nets.
Oh my
just
gosh.
For the sake
He's
for not
so
saying
sharp.
Cavs.
He's so sharp. Out of all the games, he's gonna say not the Cavs. It's that one. I mean, look at this. Cavs. He went 4 Cavs in a row. He's breaking it up with the Nets. Very intriguing.
You're such an ass.
They're such an inferior team too. And like my biggest issue is like they beat the Thunder 2 nights ago, but they've lost to everyone else.
Do they have any French player? Do the Nets have any French players on their roster?
No, but everyone keeps seeming to think that we're gonna trade Mitchell to pair him up with his buddy there, Bridges. Jeff, your guy.
Mikal.
I love Mikal Bridges. Okay.
All right, Logan.
Give me the Cavs. I need to get one back on Justin.
That's fine. I'm kind of just tossing this one to you guys.
I don't know. That makes me nervous because
I'm going
Justin's
Cavs.
been really
Justin's
sharp.
been on
I'm going Cavs for the
freaking
next
fire, and then he's going to say Nets.
Are we all going to say Cavs for the Bulls? If we're all going to say
saying
Cavs for the Bulls, then let's just predict it now. But if we're not,
I'm saying Cavs. We're better than them for sure.
I just have to will these 2 games into existence because unfortunately those like 6 or 7 games I showed on the screen to round out January, I fear we have a chance to lose every single one of those games.
I'm not gonna lie to you. My whole pick for today was Cavs until Jeff went on that rant.
Why am I just? Why did I? Well, I affect your decision.
You were like, oh, you know what? We have to win these games. I was like, if he says we have to win these games,
picking up a game, Logan.
Most assuredly we're dropping one of those games.
Don's not letting us lose in Paris. He's going for 65.
Jeffrey, he can't handle the pressure. He can't handle being 22.
Wait for Cam Thomas to go for 50.
It's tough to be at the top. I would know.
It's been a good matchup with Brooklyn. I kind of like playing them. They're fun.
I like Brooklyn.
Cam Thomas could light us up. You're right.
They've got players I want.
Well, Cavs is Encapsulated episode 9. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below. Are we winning this Paris game? Are you going to watch? Or are you going to be at work? Because I know I'm going to try to do both. I'm going to try to do both. But somebody, final thoughts? Anything? Words of wisdom for this Cavs team?
Why do we play the? I want to cuss so loudly right now. Why do we play the Bucks in 4
Justin
games?
Hates the NBA schedule.
Why?
Makers.
It makes no sense.
For fun. I like it. Get the seat. Play it like a playoff series. We're not a good playoff series.
It's what's happening with high school football team. Why is Eds playing Ignatius in the middle of the year? What? These games make no sense. Scheduling makes no sense. Whoever makes schedules, stop.
Except for whoever had the Paris idea. That was a good one. Logan?
Yeah, that was all right.
I mean, Adam Silver's out here protecting bullies and convincing them not to retire and Draymond Green. So that's who.
How do you get unsuspended and then sign a podcast deal? What the hell?
Whatever. That man is something, Draymond, and he always will be. Anyway, my words of wisdom. I didn't expect the Cavaliers to win 7 of the last 10, so keep proving me wrong. Go Cavs.
Love it. Like I said, we always come on here. We preface
proving
all.
them wrong.
We
So I picked the Nets.
We bookend
Yeah.
all. Well, I try to bookend most negativity with prove me wrong at the front or hope to be wrong on the back end. We come on here. We talk basketball. We appreciate you guys being along for the ride. It's a busy week. We're gonna have plenty of stuff out. We're going to talk through some things. We're going to see what we want to do. Browns in the playoffs, Cavs in Paris, plenty of things going on. And yeah, we're going to bring it all direct to you guys through the video screen, through YouTube. Like I said, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, share with a friend, keep growing the page for us. And yeah, with that all being said, we appreciate you being the pulse of it all.